Back in the early 2000s, heaps of Aussie cars got converted to dual fuel, like my VX Bellina here. This one is dealer fitted, and lots of people laugh about it now, but let's talk about why it actually made sense. Petrol prices in the early to mid 2000s were climbing pretty quickly. You know, you were seeing $1.30, $1.40 for a litre, something like that, and that was a lot of money back then. And at the same time that was happening, LPG was often less than half the price of petrol. It's absolutely true that gas is not as efficient as petrol, about 25% worse. Now, the conversion did actually cost a couple of grand, and here's actually what a dealer-fitted Holden one looks like with the VS airbox and everything. But at the time, the government had a rebate of up to $2,000 for doing this. So for a lot of high-mileage vehicles, taxis and fleet cars and stuff like that, it actually kind of made sense. And one cool thing about the VX one is I can press this button because it's dealer-fitted, and then the whole dash and fuel and everything switches over to the tanks while I'm driving. So I can use this gauge for fuel or gas. And because I can do that on the fly, this car can hypermile. I can get like 1250, 1300 Ks out of both tanks out of this car because it's so well looked after. Another thing that's really important with gas cars, and I'm so fortunate when I bought this car, it was an elderly lady, and she said, make sure every 4 tanks of gas you use 1 tank of petrol, and she'd been doing that the entire life of the car since new. So this Ecotech is an absolute peach. But gas is nowhere near as cheap as it used to be now, and stations are drying up, frankly. I still wouldn't say no to dual fuel if it's a really good looked after one like that, but I probably would steer away from a dedicated gas car now just because the stations are drying up. In summary, it made sense at the time, but not for much longer after they started doing this.